Assalamu alaikum class. Today we'll be discussing the next topic, which is cause and effect. Uh, Cause and effect mein basically what you have is you are given two statements and you are asked to identify which statement is the cause and which is the effect. So either statement 1 or statement 2, either one of the two will maybe the cause and the other one may be the effect. There is also a possibility that they both may have independent causes, that they are completely unrelated, or they may have the same cause, or maybe the effects of independent causes, or they may be independent causes themselves. So you can have all of the 5 options, or you can also have 4 options. So you have to please make sure you read the options carefully, because in the sample test there have been 4 options, and those 4 options have not been the same throughout, by the way. Okay. So basically the strategy to attempt is that you should read the 2 statements and try to figure out which one seems the reason and the other seems the outcome. And one way of doing this is to put the 2 statements together and write the word in the middle, or you don't read it with the word in the middle. Read it with the word to cause in the middle. Sorry about that. And then try to identify if it makes sense or not. So basically, you'll write statement 1, write the cause in the middle, and then write statement 2 and read them together. Similarly, then you'll do the other way around. You write statement 2, write the cause in the middle, then write statement 1, and then see which one of the 2 sets makes the most sense. So I'll explain this with an example. But before I go on to that example, these are the 5 options that are generally written. So if you think that statement 1 is the cause, statement 2 is the effect, you mark A. If you think otherwise, you mark B. If you think that both our statements are independent causes, that is, none of the 2 is an effect, but both are reasons, but in different reasons, then you mark C. Then if you think that both are the outcomes, but of different reasons, then you mark D. For example, if statement 1 says, the Pakistani team is performing well, and then you say the Pakistani stock market is performing well. Dono outcomes hain, but the reasons are different. Maybe the team is performing well because they've been practicing, and the stock market has been performing well because the economy is doing well. So they both are cause effects of independent causes. So you'll mark D in that case. And you'll mark E when both are effects, but of the same common source, of the same common source. For example, you could say the stock market is doing, the industries are doing well. And then you could have also say the export sector is doing well. So they both are probably effects of the same cause, that the economy is doing well and government is making right policies, and hence both are doing well. Okay, so in that case, we could mark E as your answer. All right. Acha. Again, this is important, please read this carefully. However, I've seen the sample test, and in those sample tests, there have been 4 options. So you would have, जो A और B है वो तो मौजूद था, but C, D, E में से कहीं पे C और E है, कहीं पे D और E है, और इस तरह करके है. So please make sure you read the options carefully. ठीक है, ऐसा ना हो कि आपने याद किए हुए हो और वहां जाके आप देखे बगैर मार्क करते हैं. Please make sure you read them carefully. So let's look at the first example. We'll be discussing 4 examples today, and then I'll be sharing a handout that you will try, and we'll discuss that later in the next video. So example 1 may you have 2 statements. The government has started quality checks at restaurants. Second statement says many people have suffered from food poisoning recently. So government has started quality checks at restaurants, which seems like an action or an effect and people have suffered from food poisoning recently. So if you were to make a timeline and think logically, you would say people have been getting food poisoned. and therefore the government has started quality checks at restaurants. That will make more sense. That will in fact make sense. The other way around, if you say people have started getting food, government has started quality checks at restaurants, and therefore people have started suffer from food poisoning. That doesn't make sense. In fact, if government is starting quality checks, then food poisoning should actually be decreasing, right? So effectively, this seems the second statement seems to be the cause, and the first statement seems to be the effect. So the cause, statement 2 is the cause, and statement 1 is its effect. So you'd say B is the answer in this case. If you are unable to do it this way, then I mentioned there's the other way of doing it. I've done this over here. You make two sets. In the first set, I will write the first statement and then the second statement later on. In the second set, I will write the second statement first and the first statement later on. And I will write the word because in the middle and then read it and see which one makes sense. If I read the first set, it says government has started quality checks because many people have suffered from food poisoning. This makes logical sense. ये sense बना रहा है. तो set 2 कहता है many people have suffered from food poisoning recently because government has started quality checks at restaurants. Now, because government is doing checks, they have suffered from food poisoning, doesn't make logical sense. ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए, उल्टा होना चाहिए. Okay, so this seems more sense. This makes more sense over here. So in this case, because के बाद जो आ रहा है वो cause है, and जो पहले आ रहा है वो effect है. So anything that follows because is the cause, and whatever is before because is the effect, which is the same as saying statement 2 is the cause and 1 is the effect, which is going to be option B, which we marked. So going on to the next question, and let's apply this policy over here. Many people prefer to shop at the big retail chains than the local grocery store. Retail chains offer a discount of more than 25% as compared to local grocery stores. So this is actually the outcome. They do this, why? Because they get a discount. So this is the cause. So even if you were to write the two sentences together and write this first, say retail chains offer a discount of more than 25%. Yeah, sorry, you write this statement first. Let me correct myself. You write this statement first. Many people prefer to shop at the big retail chains because retail chains offer a discount of more than 25%. So this becomes your cause, and that becomes your outcome, which is your effect. So again, your answer should be B. That statement 2 is the cause, and statement 1 is its effect. Going on to the next question. Statement 3, example 3. If you are someone who violates the traffic laws, then this is not good news, not a good news for you. I mean, it should be good news, but then this is how it's written in the exam, the test. So I just copied it. Second sentence says the Department of the Traffic Regulation has installed a number of traffic signals that are staffed by police officers. Again, the grammar is wrong because I've just copied it from the sample test. So I'm not going to correct it. I'm just going to tell you how to solve it. This is if you are someone who violates traffic, then this is not good news for you because the Department of Traffic Regulation has installed a number of traffic signals that are staffed by police officers. So this is not good news because they have installed. So this is again the reason, and this is the outcome kind of. So again, the answer should be B. Okay, let's look at the next example. All right, an interior minister has been found as the owner of assets more than the state income. The prime minister has ordered all the ministers to unveil their assets. Now, the interior minister has been found because the prime minister has unveiled. Okay, that makes logical sense. You could argue that the interior minister has been found. How was he found? Then my question in that case would be, how was he found if there was no requirement by the prime minister, or if there was no condition? So this has to be the reason for the interior minister assets to be found. Okay, you could have a far-fetched thing that the interior minister's assets were found and therefore the prime minister ordered. But that doesn't logically make more sense than the one that I'm talking about. Okay, because that's a little far-fetched. भाई इंटीरियर मिनिस्टर के एसेट्स कैसे फाइंड हो गए? अगर पहले प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने ऑर्डर नहीं किया था तो कैसे फाइंड होगा? ऐसे तो कोई नहीं बता देगा. प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने ऑर्डर किया तो फिर फाइंड वो उसका मालूम पड़ा ना कि ज्यादा है. That makes more logical sense. So that is why I would say that this is the cause and this is the effect again. Okay, so if you want, you can read them together again and write the cause in the middle. An interior minister has been found as the owner of assets more than the state income because the prime minister has ordered all ministers. Agar prime minister order nahi karta, तो probably she wouldn't have been found. So the answer again in this case is going to be B. Okay, ji, going on to the example 5. That's the last example. Pakistan stock market is performing well and there is an increase in qualified teachers. So let's see, Pakistan stock market is performing well because there is an increase in qualified teachers. Doesn't make logical sense. There is an increase in qualified teachers because Pakistan stock market is performing well. Ulta bhi karte hain, doesn't make sense. So A and B both are out. This is an outcome. This is an outcome. This is an outcome of something different. That the industry is doing well, maybe. That is why the market is doing well. Let me write this down properly. Outcome of, let's say, the economy. And this could be the outcome of, let's say, scholarships. That you have scholarships for teachers and all. Something like that. So they are outcomes of independent causes. So in this case, the answer should be D, because they are the outcomes of independent causes. Okay, दोनों का cause भी same नहीं है और ये खुद भी cause हो सकते थे, but खैर यहाँ पे मतलब cause खुद इस केस में नहीं हो सकते, but they could also be a different way that they could be a cause. Consider a cause as well. So this is it. I'm going to share a handout. You can try that, and then we will have a discussion class for that handout, the discussion video for that handout. Thank you guys for your time. Take care. Allah Hafiz.